Hytale might live on. Kind of. Maybe. Not sure yet. Yesterday, the lead dev of Vintage Story, Tyron, made a statement dedicated to Hytale's fans and the developers. And in it, he more or less said that they're willing to hire Hytale devs to work on something new in Vintage Story. Here is the entire statement from Tyron. Dear Hytale community, as many of you might have read by now, Hytale has been officially cancelled. Our heartfelt compassion goes out to those that were looking forward to its release, as well as to all the developers working at Hypixel Studios. As a former Hytale developer myself, allow me to openly invite everyone left unsatisfied by this news to try out Vintage Story. While it may not be quite the same experience you would have hoped, do keep in mind that our game allows for a great range of customization options to reduce some of the more difficult settings that Vintage Story ships by default. In fact, if you are one of the former developers or a higher passionate Hytale fan with extensive modding skills, do write us at jobs@vintagestory.at. Perhaps we could put together a small sub-project within our team of developers to bring out an additional game mode for Vintage Story that can, at least in part, deliver on the vision of what Hytale set out to become. I could picture this as a mostly independent workgroup developing a new playstyle or an external team that uses our extensive modding API with funding from us. Due to the massive success Vintage Story has become, and with the right leadership, I believe this would be something very achievable. For our existing player base, don't worry, the default experience of Vintage Story will stay true to its vision and updates will come at the same pace. Cheers, Tyron. This is huge. For everyone who wanted Hytale to come out, it's very possible that if Tyron even gets maybe a handful, 5 or so devs from Hytale, that we could get a Hytale-esque experience built into Vintage Story. That is super cool. I've been playing Vintage Story for over a year maybe now, a little over a year now, and it is one of the best sandbox games I've ever played. I think that this is wonderful news and I'm very excited to see where this goes. And I want to talk a little bit about what I think this could look like. Now, I'll full out say I did not follow Hytale's news or all of its features very closely, pretty much post the initial kind of showing of the game back in like 2018, or 2019, don't remember exactly when. I really didn't know much about it beyond that initial showcase where it showed some of the modding capabilities, a lot of the social features. I didn't know much about it beyond that. I think that a lot of the stuff even shown off in that initial showcase would be awesome parts of Vintage Story. I think some of the combat that they showed off in that video would be super cool if it kind of got brought over, because I like Vintage Story, but the combat is a little bit kind of finicky, and maybe that's by design. Maybe it's supposed to be hard and kind of clunky, but it's not so fun for PvP. For PvE, I think it's fine, but PvP, I think we could use some fresh combat in that. More importantly, the design of Hytale, the way it looked, was honestly really beautiful, and I think that some of those things could carry over to Vintage Story very well. They had some beautiful and gorgeous kind of landscapes that, while Vintage Story is beautiful in many other ways, it just doesn't quite have that fantasy element to it. And I understand that Vintage Story is trying to be more grounded and realistic, but if they're going to make an offshoot, like a sub-game mode for Vintage Story, I would love to see more fantasy, wacky terrain that you just don't really get in that normal vanilla Vintage Story experience. Even more than that, if the game takes on some more RPG-like elements that we know that Hytale was kind of going to have, I think that would be great. Vintage Story already has a really awesome social aspect. It's very easy to make a server and play with friends or join up a public server. It's very easy to do all this, or even host mods on your server. It's very, very easy to do all of these things. I think that Hytale devs working on it could make that experience even better. There's a lot that could happen from this, and I think that Hytale kind of living on through Vintage Story would be a wonderful and amazing way to go in the future. I think that the survival sandbox genre needs more competition. Right now it's kind of just Minecraft, and that's a little bit of a shame. I think that Vintage Story is probably the closest thing that we have to a real competitor to Minecraft, and I really hope that the word of Vintage Story gets out more now that Hytale is dead, and potentially we could have Hytale devs working on Vintage Story. That's my hope. However, what do you think? Do you actually know a little bit more than me? If you guys know a lot about the features in Hytale, I'd love to hear about them, because frankly, I don't really have the time to go researching and deep diving into Hytale and all the features that were going to be, but I could just kind of report the news here, and I'd love to see what you guys know about it. What are some things from Hytale that you want to see put into like a sub-game mode of Vintage Story? I can already think of a few things that were just based on that trailer, but I want to hear what you guys think. What are your thoughts on that? Anyway, that's going to be it for today's little video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye-bye.